Let's roll. Go time.
1, 2, 3, Jets.
Oh, yeah, it's go time, man. I'm back at home.
The Jets had their moments.
Intercepted by the Jets.
And a chance to close it out if not for fourth quarter mistakes.
Exactly what you said couldn't happen.
Otis will take you in the locker room.
Penalties.
And we'll show you what you may have missed.
Wide open Robbie Anderson.
So take a seat and relax. This is Jets Late Night. What a roller coaster of a game it was. The Jets just unable to finish what they started in the Sunshine State. Welcome to Jets Late Night. Steve Overmyer here alongside 9-year NFL veteran Erik Coleman. And Erik, boy, the Jets have been outscored 67-17 in the fourth quarter so far this year. How does a team find the killer instinct to play better in the final quarter of the game?
Well, it's all about finishing tasks. You know, finishing that drive, finishing that play, and not getting complacent, not getting comfortable with your situation. When you have an opportunity to finish out a team, you have to find a way to grow that gap. And that comes with experience. It comes with continuing effort. And I think the Jets will develop it.
Yeah, it's not just the players that have to have that mentality. It's the coaches that have to have the mentality as well. And in the fourth quarter of this game, the Jets offense had -4 yards. That is just, it's terrible. So let's take a look at the three key plays of the game that really turned this one around. Josh Mccown is the definition of a journeyman quarterback. He's played on 8 teams so far, 10 if you count training camps, and today he became just the second quarterback in Jets history to throw 3 touchdowns and run for another one in the same game. The Jets by 14 in the third. Last time the Jets lost a game after leading by 14 points in the fourth quarter was to the Colts in '95, and their quarterback at the time, Jim Harbaugh. Which brings us to the turning point of the game. Matt Moore, who replaced Jay Cutler, ties the game at 28. He's no Eli Manning, but Mccown still owned 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. But there wouldn't be a 7th because that interception set up the game-winning field goal for the Dolphins, who scored 17 unanswered points in the fourth. And that denies the Jets their 4th win of the season.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have came to that. When you have a 14-point lead, you got to close the game out. So we didn't move the ball on offense. We didn't stop them on defense. Well, things are going to be positive. They're frustrating, but they're positive. You pick up your shoes and you walk. You get ready for the next week and you correct your mistakes. Morale is good. The team is good. The losses are frustrating. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated we lost. I'm not disappointed with the team. The guys play hard. I'm happy with the team. I'm frustrated with the penalties. It's frustrating. They gave them all the drives in the first half. It kept some drives alive in the second half. 12 penalties, you ain't going to win the ball games. You got too many untimely penalties at the wrong time, too many penalties, period. Until we learn that lesson, it's going to be tough sledding. I'll watch the film, like I said. I'm not going to sit up here and judge Buster off not seeing everything. But Buster plays hard. He had a great game last week, and I know he got a penalty this week, but him, like everybody else, has to play better.
All right, he's talking about Buster Skrine, who he's right. He had a great game last weekend against Tom Brady. Tom Brady's passer rating against Buster was 4.2. However, the Dolphins' combined passer rating in this game against Buster Skrine, 158.3, a perfect passer rating. He had 7 targets come his way, 7 catches, 119 yards, 3 touchdowns his way. This was tough for him to endure a game like this.
Yeah, you know, every once in a while you'll see a player go through a tough game like this. But when I think of Buster Skrine, I think of a player who's physical. He does great against crossing routes. He's a great tackler. He struggles a bit against the vertical passing game, and he faced Kenny Stills today, and Kenny Stills gave him all he could handle with the vertical passing game. A lot of times they were caught in blitz where he didn't have any help, and it really just exposed Buster, and we'll hope that he can rebound. He'll go back and watch the film and become a better player from this situation.
Yeah, he was on the field, and he was actually targeted on both of those fourth quarter touchdowns that really turned this tide in favor of the Dolphins, but he also had 3 penalties for 41 yards in this game. And I think what's so difficult to really digest for Jets fans, and maybe for the Jets themselves, is that there was another 12 penalties in this game. After weeks of 10, 9, they have actually averaged 10 penalties per game this entire season. How does a coach turn this around? Are there any ways that a coach has been able to take a team that is so heavily penalized and turn it around midway through the season?
Well, it's a tough thing to address. And, I've seen coaches go from shaming players, from making them run, put your name on the board and penalize players for getting penalties.
Well, that's what it sounds like what Todd Bowles is doing.
Yeah, but
anytime somebody gets a penalty in the practice, they put their name on the board.
Yeah, and it's not always about effort, but sometimes taking away some of that playing time is the best way to get someone's attention. And today was a tough situation. The field conditions were bad, and when you're on defense, it's hard to get that footing. It's hard to play under your feet. And when you get outside of your feet, when a player gets leverage on you, your first instinct is to grab. And I think that's what Buster got caught in a couple situations to where he was grabbing defenders, trying not to get beat for a touchdown.
Well, there's no doubt about that. The offense certainly had the advantage in this game because they know where they're going, and the defense was kind of left flat-footed and slipping on, again, poor field conditions, if you will. But the defense allowed the worst-ranked offense in the NFL, 31 points. Really tough to swallow on this one. And afterwards, Otis Livingston caught up with one of those defenders, Demario Davis.
All right, Demario, unfortunately for the second straight week, you guys were unable to hold on to a lead in the fourth quarter. What does it say about killer instinct, and how do you guys develop that?
We just got to be better, down the stretch. We got to look at the tape, find out what we did wrong, and be better next week.
As far as the defense goes, I mean, you guys pride yourself on getting off the field, keeping teams down, being one of the better defenses in the league. How do you guys finish better?
In those situations, third down, we got to be able to get off the field, got to find a way to take the ball away, we got to find a way to get pressure on the quarterback. We didn't do it good enough today, so we just got to do better next week.
How tough is it also that this is a division rival, team that you guys pretty much shut out the first time at MetLife Stadium?
Anytime you lose, it's tough.
Is there any added hard feeling as far as it being a division rival, though?
In my mind, you go out and play to win, and so it feels the same. You either win or you lose. That's it. We lost today.
You lost 2, you won 3, now you've lost 2. I guess you guys feel like it's going to be another upswing?
We got to get back on track, Can't let games slip away. We let this one slip away, so we got to go back and get ready to play at home. We know our crowd is going to be electric, so we got to get that one at home.
I think maybe a new rule for the Jets locker room is don't look Demario Davis in the eye after a loss. That guy had daggers in his eye. He was quiet, and I'm equating that quietness with just anger and frustration.
And this should be frustrating. The thing we've learned about the Jets is that they're talented enough to compete with any team in the league. But the only problem is sometimes they beat themselves. If they can refrain from beating themselves with the penalties, the mental mistakes, and those just compound mistakes, then this team can compete and win against any team in the league.
It's tough enough to win a game in the NFL. If you don't shoot yourselves in the foot, it makes it a little bit easier. All right, when we come back, we're going to take a closer look at how one much maligned star stepped up on his birthday. But first, each week we ask you to tweet out your video opinions of the game to #MyJetsStory. This week, once again, a young Jets fan was not pleased.
Bad day to have a bad game. Jets showed their youth. They just gave the game away because they played soft.
Coach Talk on Jets Late Night is sponsored by Toyota.
Welcome back. Well, the Jets had 3 sacks in this game, but none of them from the defensive line. We've been talking about the defensive line for the past few weeks, but this line did have 12 quarterback hits. They were putting pressure on the Dolphins quarterbacks, no matter which quarterback was there. And the guy that had the big game is another guy that was much maligned. The birthday boy, Muhammad Wilkerson.
Muhammad Wilkerson played lights out today. You know, he was getting after the quarterback. He had a couple of shots on the quarterback. He had an interception, and he had some great plays with just all-out effort. I thought it was a great job by Muhammad today, and he really stepped his game up.
Where do you see the value of what he's doing and when he gets that push on the line? Because, you know, again, that defensive line only allowed 1 yard before contact in this entire game.
Oh, it's a necessity for this team to hold a rushing team to 50 yards rushing, to put pressure on the quarterback. They force some errant throws. It's an effect. They may not be showing up in the stat line, but trust me, the other team knows that they're there and they're fearing them.
Okay, so this Jets offense maybe wasn't so explosive, but they did have some big plays. They certainly weren't boring. They did it on the ground. They did it through the air as well. This offense actually put some plays together.
I thought they had a great game plan coming into this game. They used the screens, the vertical passing game to find some matchups. John Morton came up with a great game plan. The only trouble is they failed to adjust at the end, and I thought that they got a little complacent and went away from some of the things that had them successful early in the game.
The thing is, what we're going to remember from this game with Josh McCown is that final interception, but I don't know if that overshadows the 4 scoring drives that he had, including one where he pounded it in himself.
Yeah, Josh McCown's been doing a great job of running this offense. He's finding the open receivers. He's attacking teams vertically. He's doing it with his legs. You know, if it wasn't for that last play, you'd be talking about Josh McCown having an excellent game. But you have to put some of that on the coordinator for putting him in that position. But at the end of the day, Josh can't throw that ball.
His passer rating in this game was 108.4. Again, the completion percentage very high. And one of the guys that he was actually throwing a lot to, 5 catches for 41 yards, was Matt Forte, and Otis Livingston was with Matt Forte after the game.
Unfortunately, Matt, for the second straight week, you guys are not able to hold on to a lead late. What is it about the killer instinct that this team just does not have?
I don't have it yet, and we haven't shown it. You know, so I think the mentality is there, but you got to go out there. You know, that's only going to take you so far. Killer instinct has to be more about action than words. So we can say it all we want. You know, we got to go out there and show it. When we got somebody down by 2 scores, especially us as an offense, we got to drive the ball and keep the defense off the field. Turnovers hurt us, you know, and that's the key factor in all games. If you turn the ball over, the other team is going to be able to capitalize on those turnovers.
Did you feel like you guys as an offense needed to keep on scoring? I mean, because it looked like you guys had the game. Do you feel like you guys had to score some more?
We should have. I mean, that's your job as an offense, is to score points and not to just score enough, just to keep scoring. So no matter how many points we have, we got to keep scoring, then stuff like this doesn't happen.
How really tough is it against a division rival such as Miami, a team you almost shut out earlier in the season at MetLife Stadium?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's one that we let slip away from us more than, you know, give them credit. They played well, but we let it slip away more than they beat us. We beat ourselves.
As for Matt Forte, you look into his numbers, 33 of his 41 yards were after contact, and he actually made 6 guys miss. He forced 6 missed tackles. This was a throwback game for him.
Yeah, it was great to see Matt get back to his old form of making defenders miss in the open field. And he's a player historically. He'll account for easily 1,000 yards every season on the ground and catching the ball out of the backfield. So he's a multifaceted running back who brings a lot to this team.
You like the fact that in the past 3 weeks that 3 different running backs have kind of taken the reins and become the star.
Yeah, that's a great luxury for Todd Bowles in this offense, to have 3 running backs who you can depend on, who can carry you through any given game.
Yeah, Bilal Powell, Elijah McGuire as well have looked phenomenal when they get their chance to shine as well. Let's see if they can turn that around this next week as well. When we come back, we're going to take a closer look at why the screenplays were working so well, and more from the locker room with Otis. This is Jets Late Night.
All right, welcome back to Jets Late Night. I'm Otis Livingston along with Marcus May. Marcus, an interception today, but it seemed like you guys weren't able to hold that lead. Right. Up 14 going to the fourth quarter. Why weren't you able to do that?
I mean, we just got to find a way to get off the field. As far as defense-wise, we just got to stay aggressive. As a team, overall, we can't get comfortable. You can't get complacent. Even though we're up, we still got to keep fighting.
What do you guys do about the penalties, too? Because that's one of the themes that's been in the locker room, talking about cleaning up the penalties.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we just got to play clean. I mean, we're playing aggressive and stuff like that, but, I mean, at the end of the day, we got to be penalty-free because it hurts us at another day. But, I mean, we just got to keep playing. We got to stay after them. Like I said earlier, we can't get comfortable. And we just got to finish the ball game at the end of the day.
What's the plan for this week as you guys go back, watch film, and get ready for next week?
Back to work. I mean, come in the building tomorrow, get ready for our next opponent. I mean, we got to watch this one, let it get behind us, and, move on.
But there's no quitting this team?
No, none at all. No.
All the best to you.
Yes,
all right. Stay tuned for more Jets Late Night after this.
Oh, yeah. Time for My Jet Swag. Please use the hashtag MyJetSwag. Show us all your favorite Jets gear, like these Jets fans who made the trip. I see the palm trees.
Oh, yeah.
They made the trip all the way down to Miami and flashing all of their Jets gear down there. And I hope they had a great time down there. Welcome
Jets
back.
South.
Yeah, exactly. Might as well enjoy it. Welcome back to Jets Late Night. Steve Overmyer alongside Erik Coleman. We love when Erik Coleman breaks down why plays work out. Erik, the Jets are not known for the screen, but they were dialing up the screen a couple of times in this game. They saw something.
Yeah, it was great to see them open up their playbook and use Miami's strength against them. Miami's strength is their speed and their pass rush. And if you let it play, look at the pass rush of Miami. They dump off the screen, get the big fellas up in front for a huge gain to Tomlinson. I thought this was an excellent.
I think the key play to this is in modern day screens nowadays, you actually have to sell a different play. You have to make the defense believe you're going someplace else.
The defenses are getting smarter. You have to fool them with a little bit of play action. So if you let it play, they run the play action, and now the linebackers start to feel like they're missing out on their coverage. So they separate. They drop back, look at Quale get out on the perimeter and get the safety. Nice block out there for Tomlinson.
And look at the convoy in front of him.
Yeah, all the big fellas in front of him. That has to feel good knowing that these guys are protecting him. Winters is even out there about 30 yards down the field. So it's great using the screen because you let the defensive line beat you. they think they're getting to the quarterback, which is tough because the quarterback has to hold on to the ball, and the second level guys are dropping back into their coverage. So there's a big space in between the ball carrier and the tacklers.
It's got to be tough for those defensive linemen because it's in their brain, get the quarterback, get the quarterback. And when they get a free run at him, of course they're going to go full bore. But you're right, Mccown, the courage that he shows, he's got a small window there. Somebody's chasing him down. He's got to lift it over his head.
The tough part is the longer he holds on to that ball, the better off the play is going to be. And it's just a great acting job by all the guys up front, just acting like they want to block and engage, and then letting the guy beat them.
Right.
The defense feels like they win, and it's like a fly trap.
It's like a fly trap. Yeah, it's like a honeypot. You know what I mean? You just kind of tempt them a little bit this way, then you go that way. That's sometimes football is about firing off hard, and sometimes it's about teasing them and tempting them to go in a different direction.
Yeah, the ultimate chess match.
It is. All right, Erik, great work there. All right, the play that we're going to be talking a little bit more about is going to be what the Jets were doing with this atrocious field conditions. We're going to talk a little bit about that when we come back. You're watching Jets Late Night. Well, the playing field at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami was extremely poor. Part of the reason was they had suffered a downpour yesterday before the Miami Hurricanes played a game, and then Miami versus Syracuse, those two teams just tore it up. Players were slipping, even when they were wearing the longer cleats. How big of an issue was this for this game?
Well, it's a safety issue, but it's also a concern for the defenders and the guys on offense who are making the cuts. I know that they would urge us to go out in the field several hours before the game, test out the footing so we can get different cleats in. It's a mental distraction, but I think it plays more to the advantage of the offense because offensively you know where you're going.
Right.
On the defensive side, you're just reacting. So it's important that these guys get the correct footing, and playing under these circumstances could be dangerous.
So the Dolphins did release a statement after this game. They admitted that they put in a new field this week, and the field did not take, the new sod did not take. They say it was safe to play on, but it was not up to their standards. Safe to play on. Sometimes that can be really scary when you step out on a field and it doesn't feel like you can get proper footing.
Yeah, it is scary. I mean, because you're talking about guys who are 200 plus pounds running full speeds, and you want to have all the cleats that you can in the ground before you go up and attack someone, because that's how you pull groins. Injuries happen. So no one got hurt this game, which is, I'm thankful. but it was definitely rough conditions.
You played on some bad turfs before?
Yeah, I played on some terrible turfs. The one I think about was New England in 2006.
Right.
It was so bad that the day after the game, they switched to field turf.
I remember that. Why do you remember that game so well?
Oh, because it's probably the only time I beat Tom Brady and I intercepted him.
You got to pick that one as well. All right, well, speaking of Tom Brady, next up is an Atlanta team that lost back-to-back games to the Dolphins and the Patriots. This is a team that went to the Super Bowl last year. How do the Jets try to keep them frustrated in this next one?
Well, I think for the Jets, they have to continue the way they're playing, minus the mistakes, minus the mental mistakes. They're a good enough team where if they can run the ball, get the ball to Bilal Powell, get it to Forte, stretch the field vertically down the field, I think they'll have success. Atlanta on paper, they look like an all-star team. They have Pro Bowlers everywhere, but they're not playing as a team. And this is a great time to get out to a fast start and take advantage of that.
I mean, that's an interesting point to bring up because even though they have all the weapons in the world, if you're not playing as a unit, you can lose to a team that is playing as a unit. And that's the one thing that we've seen out of the Jets this year is the unity that we've seen out of this team. And let's hope that they bring it back together again. And the anger that they have after this loss can translate into a victory this next week. All right, Erik Coleman, great job. Thanks once again for all of your insights. Very much appreciated. And thank you for watching. For Erik Coleman and Otis Livingston, I'm Steve Overmyer. We'll see you next week.